Okay, welcome everyone on the Imperial podcast. Uh, Today I will interview the Green Rocket. My name is DominoKafuu. We'll start by asking few questions. So let's go. So how are you today, the Green Rocket?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
Mm, were you watching the stream of the today's faction? I mean FFA Crown
FFA?
tournament.
No, I was busy getting stuff done for revising, getting some stuff done for exams at the end of the year. So been a bit busy, but I quickly tuned in there for a second. I'm just going. Come on, Lux, you got this.
Okay then. Um, who do you think that will win this crown tournament?
Oh, there's crowd one. I haven't really been paying attention. I'm hoping it's Lux. I think the lands are still kicking about. Says Lux. Saxony. I think Saxony might be dead actually. I'm supporting Lux always, but yeah. I see people in the chat saying they should wait for the Crown Wars to finish. Uh, I'm happy to say
Sadly, we can't wait. We need to do this
we can
right
wait.
now.
We can't wait. Or we can wait.
No, we can't.
Can't
We
wait.
don't have time for that.
Don't have time for that. Oh, tight schedule of the media team.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the questions asked by people and made by media team. Okay, so let's start with the first question, which is, how did you found Empire Roleplay, and did it make a good impression on you?
So I have two first findings of Empire Roleplay realistically. So I discovered the game in late 2020 originally, walked around a bit, and then left. Shortly after is an I think we have people knocking on the door here and coming up the stairs into the tavern with swords equipped.
It's
Um,
okay.
and then I had a proper discovery of it in February 2021, where I hopped onto the game with one of my friends, and we took a little walk around as outsiders. And we arrived at the quarry, and we sort of see in the distance this sort of fog, and we walk towards the fog, and we see this outline. It's a massive castle, and we arrive, and there's this massive castle with soldiers going in and out of it with a viscount sort of standing around, charging people around, which is technically not allowed, but oh well. Um, and it was an absolutely amazing experience to the point where I thought, I wanna go around and give this game a little shot. And here I am now, still playing the game after 2 years.
Hmm. Then are you bored of this game? Like you're playing for so long, almost 2 years.
I feel this game it can have its boring moments where things get quite repetitive, but most of the time, the game will end up being a new experience every time. Um, when you join the game, you might have the same opening each time, just sort of lumbering out and walking around. Um, but you always have a different experience when like either somebody new to the game or somebody old to the game, somebody you've already spoken to, somebody you know already, or somebody you don't know will appear, and you'll be able to enjoy a new experience. For instance, I recently found out that it has the Home Empire has VR support, which means you can hop into the game with a VR headset on and walk around in this game. And it when you're wearing that VR headset and walking around, you're walking around and looking around the game that you've spent years inside of, and you're going, wow, the game is actually that beautiful. You don't really realize it when you're a computer, but the game is very beautiful, and the devs have done a great job on everything, every little minute aspect. Um, I think it really hit me when I entered the church and I look around and wow, it was just fantastic. And no, I'm not bored of the game after years of playing because there's always new experiences to be had, and it's all good fun.
Yeah. The VR is really interesting in this game. Sadly, it's not really walking. I mean, it's walking, but no one can see you moving your hands.
Yeah,
So,
so with the VR, it's not the same. It's still the regular assets and like animations of regular HRE, but except you're obviously in VR and you're moving your arms around and you can sort of like stretch and um, you move like a bot when you're walking around in VR because the movement's fine, the movement's completely fine. There's just a couple issues with things like can't put up your shield without doing some special stuff. Um, what else can't you do? Um, the you have to be in first person because the third person camera is directly above you. Um, but in general, it works really well. Um, it's essentially the same as an Xbox controller. It's nice to see we have some Le Garde Royale and Imperial Guard here to just shoot people away. I think this is our server here, Mr. Pizza.
I hope
Oh,
that
here
no one will just start killing us all.
yeah. Well, we got the Mr. Imperial Chronicle here.
It's actually the beauty director.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Imperial Chronicle. I think I was in the. I still had my Imperial Chronicle tag for quite a while after. I had it for months actually, months and months, and then it was finally removed, even after like 6 months of not being in the Imperial Chronicle.
Yeah,
But yeah.
but Imperial Chronicle is now back, and the application is open. So if anyone wants to apply and join us, then I recommend to check the recruitment channel. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and I hope that the developers will add the possibility to play on the VR in HRE, so you could
Yeah, I've
like
been
fight
asking
in a
the
VR.
asking staff team to get that sorted. Hopefully, maybe in the future, but we'll see.
Okay, let's move to the next question, which is, which was your first Dachi?
My first duchy.
Yeah.
Well, I've only ever been in one duchy and then another division as well. Well, apart from overseeing all the duchies and all the divisions, but my first duchy was Luxembourg, my true home. Um, the reason why I joined Luxembourg was because with my friends, one of them was on mobile only for a temporary amount of time, and back in 2021, the only mobile friendly duchy was Luxembourg, and so we rocked up to a tryout, passed the tryout. I think we went to a Bohemia tryout first and failed that one, and then we went over to a Luxembourg one, uh, and and then I never turned back from then. I remained in Luxembourg for uh, oh, over a year, before becoming a duke, and then I left to go do other stuff, and then I rejoined twice. Once back in early December and left at the end of December, and once again in uh, early April, and then left late April.
Why didn't
Yeah,
you try any other Dachi?
I never tried any of the duchy because I already had sort of what I felt was the best duchy experience, and Luxembourg to me it's just always been different because you've got Brabant, Saxony, Bohemia, and Bavaria, and they all follow this sort of a strictly regimented sort of skill and numbers game that there is. Get this guy off the table. Get
People
this
are on
guy
the
off the
table.
table. Um, oh, I don't know what Tom's trying to say to me, but uh, I never wanted to try any of the duchy because Luxembourg was more than just the strictly regimented sort of doing fighting and stuff like that. It was a place where everyone was sort of brothers in arms, and Russell took this a bit too far and created communist Luxembourg. But we always had good fun with our game nights and other stuff. Hopefully, these IG and guard should sort out the sides here. But yeah, that was. I never tried any of the duchy because Luxembourg was always home, and I don't think anything could compare to my experience in Luxembourg.
Okay, interesting story. Mm, I see that you really like the Luxembourg.
Oh, absolutely, Luxembourg on top.
I also forgot to ask you something on the start, so I will ask you now. Uh, like 1 week ago, you got the colonel in HRE, and now you're not in HRE. What happened?
Uh, I don't know if I can talk about that. I don't think I can talk about that, so I won't, because I don't know if I should be. Um, but it was basically just, in general, it was a, oh, go away, Fayez.
Oh my god.
Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Give me a second, let me go complain to Fayez.
I hope that no one will kill me. I have a lot of dollars right now.
Absolute silly billies over there. I probably should have turned my PvP off, to be fair. But yeah, I don't think I can really talk about that. It was, yeah, so I won't.
It's okay then, if you can't. Sadly. Oh my god, I can't turn off the PvP in the Imperial City.
Can you not?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
oh well. Um,
Maybe we should go to the church. It might be a better place than Turbo's Tavern.
just angrily messaging Fairs about the raid on the podcast. Because technically, attacking me is TK because I'm in France
Yeah,
and in my France tag. So
yeah, and he was also French.
shame, shame. Yeah, that's why I did think that maybe we should have done this podcast on a different game, or at least a personalized game. So I think you should probably have some sort of personalized game in the future.
Yeah, you're right, because people are trying to destroy this event.
Yeah, you could get like a proper like podcast lounge going.
Or we could do it in like rally grounds.
Well, then that's still the same issue. Um,
Right.
we'll just get RG to keep it protected. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
or
Fairs.
Royal Guards and
Yeah.
IG could protect us. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Uh,
Yeah.
in which duchy did you got? Okay, that's a stupid question because you just say that you only
Yeah, well,
joined
it's
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg. I became a trial knight after a week of being in Luxembourg, and then became a knight a week after that. Became a lieutenant just before the start of March 2021. A captain by early April, commander by late April, and then duke the next year after that.
Okay, then what was your reaction when you got HR for the first time?
I'm trying to think back now because it's such a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm presuming my reaction was get in, because I feel like becoming an HR for the first time is different to becoming it the second, third, fourth, fifth time, whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's that sort of first step towards realizing, maybe I can do some good stuff in this game in the future. Um, and here I am now, with you saw my message earlier when you asked me about my former ranks.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of them.
yeah, yeah,
Massive list.
massive list. I'll quickly go through them because why not? We've got these are the former ranks. We've got Archduke of HRE, overseer of all the duchies and divisions, former head of the TO team, or former head of the media team, former Duke of Luxembourg, former Lieutenant of IG, former Director of the IEC, former Archduke of TSO, former Duke of the Test faction that belonged to Kirker, the original commander of the Luxembourg elites, the Luxembourg Regiment Overseer, and the founder of the Imperial Guards Streitextragen. And there's a couple of ranks now, but just Keeper of Cake, senior partner of the Greenbean Law Firm, CEO of Greenbean Industries, and leader of the Dark Brotherhood.
What is cake?
Cake. The collector's archives concerning evidence.
Oh, okay.
It's the old Frumentari server, which I was given ownership of last year by Camdwell after it was disbanded, and I decided I wanted to create Cake, which was just basically it was for the Oasis. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, old Oasis council member. The Oasis was meant to be like the report. It's before the reports and appeals server. There was the Oasis, and it's basically the court mixed with the reports and appeals server. And so Cake it's the largest collection of evidence in the entirety of the HRE, with servers chock full of evidence against loads of people who were banned via the Frumentari. Yeah, absolutely massive. Yeah, that's what Cake is.
Okay.
Collector's archives concerning evidence.
By the way, did you had any relations with V and K stuff? Like, were you talking with them, like to friends
So,
or something?
when I was a colonel and stuff, I wasn't particularly messaging staff team. I think I was a colonel when they were around. I became a general after um, Caleb bought the game, but I did have okay relations with staff team. When I joined TGE, I had more relations because I was chilling with Kara with that. The only staff team I really ever talked to were Camdwell because of Frumentari. That was it. Apart from when Kara became staff team and Pandas as well. I think nowadays, now that we're out of VNK and the final blueprint, I have more communication with the staff team. But back then, no, not really.
Okay then. So you're still talking with them sometimes?
No, I haven't messaged Camwell or anyone like that in a long time. I think the only times that I've really ever messaged them was when Kara's account got hacked. So I left my house, got on a bike, cycled down to Kara's house, and said, "Hello, is enter name here in?" She said, "Oh yeah, I'll just get him." And then we went for a walk, and that's when we called up Cam, like, "Hello," and it was just Kara speaking when it was phoning up Cam and AB. And yeah, we got the whole thing sorted out eventually, and Kara got her account back, which was all good. Yeah.
Okay. Mm, interesting story. Did it
Yeah.
really happen? Like, you met him in real life?
Oh yeah, no, I know. I've known Kara since like early primary school.
Whoa.
I've known Kara for a long time. I introduced Kara to HRE as well. If I wanted to, I could go cycle down the road and grab Kara for the podcast, but I don't think Kara wants to. Kara doesn't really want to do anything with HRE right now. And
Yeah,
personally, I
sadly,
think,
he's not
uh,
here.
yeah, Kara was unrightfully banned in my opinion. Um,
He got banned?
Kara was testing something. Basically, with the bots, if you give yourself 1,000,000 glory, or if you have over 1,000,000 glory, then it'll say that you have infinite glory. Um, well, that's what it said on the TGE bot. It says you have infinite power, and Kara wanted to test that, and of course that didn't go too well. Oh, please no.
Oh,
Ah.
oh. And you died, sadly. I hate people that are writing events like that.
Could
Like,
always
what's
go
the
into
point?
the experimental private servers.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great idea. I'll use it in the next podcast.
Yeah. So we can just we can just uh, yeah we'll keep on going, and I'll be back at Turbo's Tavern in a
Yeah.
second.
Hmm. Mm, Sadly, Kara isn't here anymore.
No,
If he would be here,
Kara
then
was
I would
Kara's
sue
community
him.
banned. Yeah, Kara was community banned for doing something with the bots, which is really silly when you think about it. Because that should, in theory, just be a temporary ban um, or an in-game ban. Um, Kara's banned in-game and on the Discord, so Kara can't even join the game.
No.
Um, and Kara can't defend herself against any accusations that there are. So any accusations nowadays are just taken as fact, even if they didn't happen, which is quite sad.
Mm, as I know, a lot of people hate Kara.
Yeah. I was speaking with Kara recently about the differences in uh, the sort of way of being Hycon. And the difference was that while Kara mainly focused on just doing the work, um, oh, you silly billies! I'm the interviewer, person being interviewed. Don't try to get me out here. Oi, shoo! I think in yeah um, yeah, Kara's not been rightfully banned, and hopefully the staff team is watching this and will do something about this.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
okay. Wow, look at that.
Mm, okay. Mm,
Thank you,
Sadly,
Fires.
stream saw it like it was recorded, but let's just pretend that it never happened. Mm, okay, so yeah, sadly, Kara got banned, and a lot of people
Oh,
hate Kara. Kara even banned me once for breaking the Roblox TOC. But let's not talk about me and let's move to the next question, which is, mm, what is the hardest task that Archduke has to do?
sorry. What's the hardest thing an Archduke has to do?
Yeah.
Honestly, being an Archduke isn't difficult. Um, I will say that. Archduke, all you basically end up doing is how do I put this? You delegate your tasks to other people. That's what you do.
Probably Archduke can slack off, like, he doesn't have to do a lot of things. As we can see, the current Archduke, Pandas, isn't really active.
Uh, so what was that?
Maybe you could explain few things that Archduke has to do.
So,
Oh my god, I lost 14,000 dollars. Oh my god.
high ball. Um, trying to head up to heaven. How's that
Mm,
sound? We can head up to heaven if you want.
what is heaven?
Yeah, come on, grab a horse. Do you have a horse?
Okay, yes, I have the horse. Oh, Mingo is here.
All right, come on. But yeah, so Archduke in general, they are the Archduke will be managing the knighthood and Highcon. Well, it's called the Crown Prince now as well. Does that? can also turn off your PvP once you wait a bit. But they'll mainly be managing their team. They oversee the duchy overseers, so they'll be making sure that the overseers aren't slacking off and that the reports are being properly filled in and are being properly responded to. They make sure that the reports and appeal server is doing okay. Basically, they're just management, is what they do. They have no quota of sorts. I think they might do. No, they don't. They don't manage the knighthood sheets and stuff like that. But they're basically just management. That's all they do. They do nothing
Okay.
special in particular, and probably a trained monkey could do it.
Then do you think that the current Archduke is doing his job correctly? Like, well?
Well, it the Archdukes, Panda's doing a good job. I think Panda is active-ish within. Also, you might fall through the ground and might just have to head back to heaven again.
Oh my god,
Did you
yeah.
fall through the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Since when the heaven is here, like...
Don't ask questions about heaven.
I just saw a few
Uh,
screens
uh,
in-game
I'll,
screenshot channel, but I didn't really knew that it's
I'll
really,
bring in
really a thing.
I'll bring in some guards as well. Um, uh, just need to wait on you now to get back, and we can have a chat up here in heaven.
I need to find those graves again. Oh, okay. I got teleported by Mingo.
Did you? Oh, lovely. There we
Okay.
go.
Is there
And we can
a
just keep
chair
it.
or something?
Well, there isn't any sort of seat, but well, we stand and talk over this maybe.
Oh,
If you want some sort of presentation. Oh wait, no, there is seats in here. I thought this was a blacksmith house. Is there seats up here? No, we're just down here then.
okay, that's fine. Okay. And even one viewer can sit with us if they would like to. Okay. We have currently 20 viewers. That's a lot, to be honest. Okay, but let's move to the next question, which is, where are you from?
Where am I from? So I come from England. I'm British. Uh, I've got Welsh, Irish, and English heritage. Um, yeah, but I live in England, not the south. I won't go further than that. I just don't live in the south, as you can tell from the accent, and I don't really reflect my accent, and I don't reflect what the typical British accent, or well, not the typical British accent, but the accent of the area that I'm in. I don't reflect it, which is interesting sometimes. I guess. But yeah, I come from England.
Okay, British. But no, let's not talk a lot about your nationality, and let's move to the more
Oh,
important questions.
well, glory to England.
What is your end goal for HRE?
End goal for HRE. I have no specific end goal. A lot of the goals that I have had in the past that have been reached. So, for instance, may that be Duke of Luxembourg or Archduke. Um, I mean, there's even my law firm as well, where I created it in order to think, well, what do I want to do? I want to become the best lawyer and create the best law firm in the HRE, and I think I've done that. I mean, I'm sure everyone in the podcast chat can just give a W for the Green Bean Law Firm. Can we get a good old W for it?
Mm,
Um, yeah, I have no particular end goal. There's nothing major that I want to get done nowadays.
okay.
Um, yeah.
When are you planning to retire then? Like, when are you going to leave the game forever and never come back?
Well, I retired in October for mental health reasons because I knew I wouldn't be a good Archduke at the same time as going to therapy and things like that. So, because I had some really tough personal stuff going on at the time, and I just didn't want that to affect me personally. So, and I didn't want it to affect my work here at HRE, so that's why I retired then. I don't know when I'll retire. Um, if I'm ever retiring, it won't be from HRE from a whole realistically. Um, I mean, I know I want to eventually retire as a lawyer, but when I retire as a lawyer, I know that I want to either do become a judge or here in HRE, or start running a sort of lawyer school, slash sort of law academy, whether it be
Interesting
limited
idea.
properly. And yeah, just principal rocket, you know. How's that sound? um, yeah, that's what I would like to do, but I don't think I'll be retiring for quite a while.
Okay. You would be a great judge, to be honest. I saw you as a lawyer in a few. Mm, what is it called? Oh my god.
I'm technically a jury member as well. I've just remembered. Yeah, I do have jury certification.
Oh my god.
Oh, have you just been kicked or something?
Yeah, I just got disconnected from the game.
Oh, I want to see what this looks like on the
Okay,
stream.
then let's do a quick break. So see you soon, viewers. Okay, welcome everyone. We're back, and we will continue the great Imperial podcast with the Green Rocket.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Mm, Soon they will see that we are here because there's like a, mm, like they're in the past and not at the same place as we are right now because that's just better for the stream. It's not 100% live, if you know
Hmm.
what I mean.
Yeah, well, it is live. Yeah, there we go, it's live. Of course, it's still going on, Ahmed. Anyway,
Okay,
shall we?
so let's start asking other questions. Okay. Mm, what was the most random thing an attendee has ever done in an event?
Most random thing. Um,
Like something stupid, something funny.
well, honestly, being in at the H3 being an H3 night and running a GT is some of the most fun you can have because and it's also painful because you're basically shouting at a bunch of bricks, um, and getting to turn left and right. Um, but I think, it's hard to pinpoint specific things. One time I said Alt F4 face. Multiple people left the game. Um, Presumably because they hit Alt F4, because technically it was grammatically correct. So, well, I was like, there we go. That gets my job a bit easier. Um, there's been some funny moments, such as somebody saying, like, yes, knight to the Duke. Um, uh, I mean, this isn't wasn't from the attendees, but I was doing a PR with Kara. It was IG versus Luxembourg, and I said, should we both use smiley face formations? And so we both did. And so basically, you get all the attendees to make a smiley face, and then you charge at each other. It was just some light-hearted fun. Um, but yeah, it's pretty random.
Wait, oh my god. The deputy director just announced that the podcast ended and we just did a break. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh man,
L
such a fail.
L
I need to DM him right now. It's
L L podcast isn't over. Nerd.
lol. Oh my god. Oh my god. What? Such a fail. Okay, but let's continue. Mm, okay, so the next question. Um, okay, I won't ask that because you were only in Luxembourg.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
Luxembourg, best duchy, best duchy. Yeah, yeah.
is it hard to be a high community, in your opinion?
um, I think in current H3, well, this applies to the H3 knighthood. In H3 knighthood currently, it's quite competitive for promotions, but at the same time, promotions get handled out quite easily. In terms of a high com, I think it can be easy and it can be hard. It can be hard to get promoted if there is people who are above you who are going to be staying there for a long time, such as myself. I was commander for 9 months before becoming duke. Where some people are commander for 2 months and then become duke just because of how the cookie crumbles. Um, but in general, high com being in a duchy isn't that hard. Um, I don't think there's any job in H3 which is in particular anything hard. Um, I think anyone can technically do any role in H3 in any job. It just it's just a matter of their dedication. Um, yeah, it's just a matter of their dedication and whether they are willing to keep on going with it and to do a good job. Because anyone can do the job, but yeah.
Yeah. Everyone can do it if they just try,
Yeah.
and if they try hard.
Yeah.
Mm,
If you're watching, I urge you to go for it and go be a high comp, go get that experience, so that when you go to another duchy, you can write that on your night application. You can write past experience. Well, bang, already got it. I was the captain of Brabant or something like that.
yeah. Okay. Another question about your law firm. Mm,
A law firm.
why did you decided to create your own law firm?
So it was early January or late December, and I spotted a little thing called the oh the Reich Reichstag. No, not the Reichstag. Um, I need to get the actual name before I either butcher the
It's Reichskammergericht.
the the Reichskammergericht. The
Oh my god, did you
Reichskammergericht.
actually
Yeah,
say the Reichstag?
it's the Reichskammergericht. Um, and I saw it. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I kind of want to make my own law firm, but I didn't want to make it on my own because that would be silly. So I spoke with people in Luxembourg in a Luxembourg VC, like, hey, you know, it'd be really funny if we created like a law firm and just dominated everything. And so that's when I created the Green Bean Law Firm with Jam and Jeremiah. Where did the name come from? I think we were trying to find a name, and I was like, we got the Rocket Law Firm, maybe, um, and then I was like, why not Green Bean? And then so you have me, and then Jam is the actual bean lawyer. Jam is the coffee bean lawyer, to quote himself. That's his self-proclaimed title. But I created it because I wanted to. I saw the potential within the court, and I was like, could be amazing in HRE, and I wanted it to be the best it can be, and best way to make it the best it can be is to be a part of it. And so I became a lawyer within HRE and created my own law firm.
Interesting story. To be honest, your law firm is probably the most popular, the most used, and the
Well,
best
it's
law
the
firm here.
largest, and we've got the best record. Um, Best record. It's the largest. We have the most satisfied clients. Quite a few of our cases have never gone to court. Who's that say? A lot of the cases didn't go to court, and they get sorted out outside of court. I know Turbo once came to me because he was getting sued. We sent off a message to the person suing him, like, "Hello, we are aware of your current lawsuit against this guy. Um, we will be who you're up against. We wish you the best in court." And they immediately dropped the case. um, I think being able to create that reputation for yourself is great, and yeah, so I would say that we are the best law firm. I know you've got the Hog Rider law firm coming soon, I think, which will be interesting to see, and should be fun to tussle with in the courthouse.
Mm, maybe tell us what was the most interesting case that you were in as a
Most
lawyer.
interesting case. I think
Yeah.
in HRE there aren't very there's it's not like particularly interesting cases, but I think the biggest and most well-known case that I was a part of was Skepta's case. Skepta versus Deimos and Ben. No, not Ben. Yeah, no, Ben. The Escalators in general, and just a bunch of people who got banned from Bavaria and HRE. And that was the biggest and probably the most interesting case because it had a lot of things. It was the longest court case that's ever happened. It's 2 hours long. If you go to Ben Cool's
YouTube channel.
YouTube, yeah, YouTube,
Yeah, is there?
you can find the whole court case as well as memes about the court case. That those memes were released about a day after or a couple hours after, and I loved those memes. I absolutely loved every bit of it, and I feel the courthouse is just such an amazing community, and the memes that can spring from it, and just the court in general is so fun to be a part of. Also, ADG just misspelled whispers. Whispers
Yeah.
is spelled Wispers, not Wispers. Um, but yeah, yeah, always some good fun.
In my opinion, it was the best option for uh, the emperor and stuff to add the lawyer, the courthouse. Yeah, the courthouse.
Hmm.
Mm, it added a lot of things to the game. It made it more interesting. The court cases are amazing, and the
Hmm.
fact that you need to get a lawyer, it's
You don't need to get a
interesting.
lawyer. It's recommended that you get a lawyer. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Cheeky ADG. Uh, it's recommended that you get a lawyer because it's a lot easier to defend someone else than it is to defend yourself. Mainly because a lot of the time, the thing that rolls off the tongue is my client simply or my client believes that instead of I believe that, because then it's sort of into opinion rather than somebody else stating what you believe. Um, so it's highly recommended that you get a lawyer. If I was to be sued, I would either I have three choices. I either represent myself, get someone in my court to get somebody in my firm to represent me, or go get someone from another law firm to represent me. All three options are viable. But if I was to be sued or anything like that, I don't think I'd represent myself purely because it's a lot easier to represent someone else than it is to yourself.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, guys, remember, if you will have a court case, then call the Green Rocket.
Oh, absolutely. So if everyone goes to the court server, you can find it in the announcements of HRE. Then you can join there, and then you'll see a channel called Law Firm Advertisements, where you can join the Green Bean Law Firm. The Green Bean Law Firm is the biggest and best law firm in the entirety of the HRE. I highly recommend that you use us, and because we're just attorneys, just for you. Uh, amazing win rate, and I hope that we can speak with you soon if you have any issues with the court. Not biased whatsoever.
I was there, and I tried to sue someone, and I can really recommend the Green Bean Law Firm. It's the great, just great. Your lawyers are really experienced, and they are. It's you can just see that that the people really like their job and they're taking it seriously.
Absolutely. While I'm the only person who's actually done court representation within the law firm, we have many people who have been in either other law firms or have done stuff with law outside of HRE or outside of Roblox even. Um, uh, and I hope that maybe we can hand off some, like we can have some cases that aren't being done by me outside, and we can really show off our talented team at the Green Bean Law Firm.
Yeah. And let's stop the advertisement and let's move to
Oh,
the
why not
next
some more
question.
advertisement? I feel like that could keep going.
Nah, let's move to the next question. Is HRE unique if compared to the other games in medieval genre?
The medieval genre. I've played a few medieval genre games. I was part of a Roman game, which was the proper Roman Empire, not the Holy Roman Empire, which is the Holy Roman Empire starts in about like 1187. I might be wrong. I'm way wrong on that. Like 1789 actually with Charlemagne. Whereas the Roman Empire was a lot before that, and it lasted. The Holy Roman Empire lasted till 1806 with the Battle of Austerlitz, forcing the Archduke of Austria to officially disband the Holy Roman Empire. Um, but I think it's definitely a unique experience. It's personalized tech, so it was DR tech, and then it was like changed slightly to be different. Um, Definitely the map of the game I feel is different, and the community in general. Um, I feel like a lot of the time people go for more vibrant sort of when I say vibrant, I also mean like sort of grey colours and definitely like a lot more grey textures. And whereas in HRE you've got sort of like a yellow feel in general overall, while you're inside inside the Imperial City, and the lighting is really good, and it's just got every little intricacy, which is always unique, and every time is pretty much a unique experience. And I think HRE is different and unique from the other games out there.
Yeah, there aren't too many good medieval games on Roblox, which is kind of sad. But
Hmm.
at least Day 3 is the best.
Oh, of
Mm,
course.
let's. So another question is, mm, if you could change something in HRE, what would it be?
Um, Definitely the HRE Highcom currently. I I feel I haven't seen the much presence of them whatsoever. Even when I was Colonel for a couple hours or day, like a couple days, um, I did not really see them. When I've reached out to them, they've taken quite a while to respond. Uh, it's it's sad to see that because a lot of people who are Highcom, I know would do a good job, and they do, and they can do really good jobs, but I just don't see them around. Whereas the Colonels, that I do see them around, and um, I feel like there's plenty of people who will be active and really good for the Highcom, and really good for HRE community in general if they were to become Highcom, but they can't do that because it's just such a permanent Highcom there is. Skepta took an indefinite IN a while back. I haven't really seen him around. Pandas does appear. The own Tower was recently demoted to Colonel, and Dudois was promoted to General. And Dudois has been doing an absolutely amazing job, which just really proves the point that there needs to be some sort of Highcom reform within the HRE, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I must agree with you. Uh, Currently, the Highcom of HRE is inactive, to be honest.
Mm.
Mm, like it's really hard to contact with them. Like you need to wait hours for the response.
Now,
Mm,
ADG's just said there that Mingo should be Highcom.
yeah,
Mingo is Colonel not because Mingo is part of the Knighthood. Mingo's kernel comes from the fact that I asked that basically when I created the IEC, I said that the director should be at least a kernel because then the director can actually do stuff within the HRE and has a meaning to be the director of the IEC, which is why Mingo's kernel.
no, that's sad. Because in my opinion, Migo would be great Highcom.
I think Mingo would be a great Highcom, and if staff team want to, they can bring him on as Highcom. Um, I'm not really. I thought I wasn't going to comment on this, but I saw that Super's recently become staff team. Which makes you think, well, the staff team has a new most inactive member. Um, this game is technically owned by two individuals, Caleb and Cryptic Desires. I've
Yeah,
never seen Cryptic Desires anywhere.
yeah, me
I
too.
like if you go to the game's description, like it specifically says game owners Caleb and Cryptic Desires. Whoop oh. Uh oh.
Well, the Cryptic Czar is the owner of mm, Red Pixel.
Yeah, which makes sense. Why? Sorry, I reloaded my Empire Roleplay tab to take a look as it says game owners Caleb and Cryptic Desire, which also meant that it reloaded the private server.
Oh god.
Yeah, so we'll be back there in a
That's
second.
okay.
But I don't think I've seen Cryptic anywhere in HRE. If anyone uh, sort of watching, have you guys seen Cryptic around? I mean, Cryptic Cryptic Desire. Just search messages from him. He's never spoken in the entirety of the HRE. Never sent a single message, and he's one of the owners.
I think that just the Red Pixel and the current Bold Table studio, because they changed the name.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
they
that
should, but still, at the same time, he should be speaking in the game that he owns.
yeah, but I think that it just has two owners, like the studio, and like few games are mainly owned by Caleb, and a few games are owned by Cryptic Desire. Like, mm, for example, Caleb is more uh, active in the HRE, and the Cryptic Desire is probably more active in any Liberty games,
Hmm.
like the Airport.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
But
because
yeah.
I think that
Uh,
there are two owners of the studio.
yeah.
I
But
don't think that the
I think the best
Cryptic
thing for
Desire is
HRE
hierarchy.
currently is a HICOM fix, as well as there's also some fixes for KI that need to be done, and hopefully that gets done soon. Because I spoke to staff team and said, hey, get this man. I'm not saying who, but get this man in charge of KI. He does such amazing work for KI and should be in charge, um, alongside Sky. But yeah.
I think that Ball Table Studios should actually start demoting people. Like they're just letting them slack off and do nothing. Like for example, Super Six, he was the crown prince. He was really inactive.
Mm,
Uh, People waited for the
well,
response for few days, like 2 days, just to get the response from the crown prince.
we'll simply see what happens now, with Super staff team, and we'll see if he actually is good.
Yeah. Bayek say that we need to allow the card house to take over the appeal server.
Oh, absolutely. The reports and appeal server just needs to go gone. Um, the reports and appeal server is absolutely useless, and in truth, it was a Jenny project, and it's the only Jenny project which is still around when it really shouldn't be around. Um, yeah,
I
the
think that
Oasis was a
the
Jenny project.
report and appeal server is good and helpful.
It's now I've spoken about this before. Um, the reports and appeal server is good in the sense that it allows people to report people and get appeals done. However, it completely nullifies the point of the courthouse, and it does it in a worse way. There's only a handful of people that actually do handle reports and appeals, and then the reports and appeals staff don't even follow their own laws. That there is a law that says that people who are banned by somebody can't have their ban appealed by the same person who banned them.
Oh,
As in, like, let's say Kiri bans somebody, and they put an appeal, and somebody puts an appeal. Kiri can't accept that appeal or deny that appeal. Somebody else has to. It's effectively moderation, but that just isn't. That just doesn't happen, which also results in the reports and appeal server being slower. Reports and appeal server should be replaced by the courthouse because the courthouse is objectively a better way of handling things, either whether that be through jury or with a bench trial with the judge. Um, and if staff team aren't happy with something and how something's gone, they make their choice. It's the same way they make their choice in the reports and appeals server. The reports and appeals server is absolutely redundant.
well, I can kinda agree and kinda not, because in my opinion, the moderation department should do things in the appeals and report
Yeah,
server.
the only reason the reports and appeals server should exist is for moderation.
Yeah,
The courthouse
exactly.
should handle the in-game activities, whether that be in-game bans, um, and in-game punishment. Well, not in-game punishment entirely, but in-game bans, in-game reports. That they should handle that. While it is also Knight's job to handle reports and
Oh,
stuff, maybe that's what should be done. Maybe Knight should handle reports as well. But community bans, or actually no, community bans technically should also be done from um, the courthouse. The thing that should be done from the reports and appeals server is Discord reports and Discord appeals.
well, then I agree with you. The card house should be in the appeals server. Like, they should be able to, mm, you know, bruh, I just forgot
Yeah, yeah,
what I wanted to
yeah.
say.
They should do what I've said, and the
Yeah,
courthouse should take over the majority of the duties of the reports and appeals server.
Yeah,
When
the
I was
Discord issues
Archduke,
should go to the moderation department.
when I was Archduke, and still now, the lowest HRE server on my entire list of servers is the appeals server. It will always be the appeals server. It's so low, in fact, that it's. But actually, wait, no, it's sorry, no, whoops, apologies. Had all the other law firms beneath the HRE appeals and reports server. All the other law firms have a point. The HRE appeals and reports server doesn't. Game gangs above it. Kate Frumentarias. Even British's new game, the Irish Armed Forces, is United Factions, the Assassin's Empire, the Order of St. John, Golden Gathering, Empire of Greece, Luxembourg, HRE, the Courthouse, both Heavenly Fates, my law firm, something else that I can't talk about, and the Kingdom of France. Those are all above that because the HRE reports and appeals server is boop bad. It should deal with the courthouse should deal with everything except Discord issues, Discord and moderation. That's not the courthouse job. That's the Discord moderator's job. In fact, why don't we just get the Discord moderators in the courthouse to act as Discord judges instead?
That would be cool idea. That would be
Hold on,
interesting.
hover over my name again. I've just seen something which seems a bit silly. I'm just trying to take a look at those medals there because I thought it said architect there. I'm not seeing that appear on the stream, so I spotted something which seems a bit off, so I need to check.
Okay.
You can go into the next question if you
Okay.
want.
So the next question is, if you have any advice for people that want to have successful career in HRE, what would it be?
Don't give up. Be resilient. That's literally HRE is more because everyone can do the work that everyone else does. It's all about just waiting and being patient. Patience is one of the biggest virtues in HRE of how to get a rank. Patience and activity. Those are the two things you need. And you don't even need activity, as can be proven by Super. Just patience and knowing the right people. If you're talking with people, if you are talking with people who have power and talking with people who can actually do the promotions and are active, then you will be set. You just need to know who you're talking to and just be an active member of the community. That's how you get promoted. That's how you do. HRE. Patience.
That's a great advice, to be honest. Like, the things that you said, they're really helpful. And I can say that because of my experience in HRE.
It's all about sort of waiting for your superiors to die out before you can take their jobs. That's all it is. And just adding on to what I said earlier, I remember this. United Factions, has been completely overlooked, basically. I think the director was fired recently, and I saw CFAT saying in some special chats, "Hey, we need a new owner and a new person who leads it." The only thing that UF has a presence in the HRE game currently is a single statue of Matt.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Like, the United Faction server was totally forgotten. Like, I forgot that it exists. They are not
But
doing anything with it.
yeah, in the order of the servers on my list of servers, it will always be above the HRE appeals and reports server.
Well, HRE appeals and report server isn't really important if you don't need to report someone or appeal the ban. But let's move to the first question asked by someone else and not me. And that's a question asked by Baron von Game Is. And the question is, what is your current opinion on HRE and KOF? Kingdom of France.
So, there's many questions to be had about HRE and KOF. I am currently in KOF and was a member of HRE for a long time. From my observations, KOF events have got more people attending them. KOF has more hype within it, and seems on the outside to be better than HRE. On the flip side, HRE has 5 duchies, whereas KOF currently only has one and one division. I believe there's 2 more coming soon. I think Burgundy and Brittany. There might be a 4th. I don't know. But that it's KOF has some more development surrounding it. We recently had HRE's have an update, but that wasn't HRE in particular. That was KOF and HRE. But yeah, I feel both communities are great. Supposedly there's a bit of an issue with KOF and toxicity, but at the same time, that's still going to be an issue in HRE as well. Join KOF if you want to have a higher chance of getting a high rank or having more gaining experience. That's where you should be starting off. HRE nowadays is not where you want to start off. It's KOF. KOF is where you get recognized and get an understanding of the community. HRE is where you go if you want to wait 3 years for a promotion.
To be honest, KOF kinda stole the activity from HRE. Like, a lot of active people joined KOF because they were just bored of HRE.
Well, then therefore it's not stealing. It's just providing a better service. For instance, if a law firm came along which was better than the Green Bean law firm, and absolutely destroyed them every time, people would go to that law firm and not the Green Bean law firm. I wouldn't view that as stealing. I'd view that as people picking the better option. People are picking KOF because they want to be part of active events and want to join the hype train, per se, of new duchies such as Duchy of Normandy and Duchy of Burgundy and Brittany, etc.
Yeah. The France is much more active than HRE. Like, just look at the duchies in HRE. For example, look at Bavaria. Most of the time, they can't really. No, that's a bad example. Look at Luxembourg. Most of the time, they can't really rally too many people. For example, for the Crown North.
Yeah, but even if they don't rally massive numbers, they're still an amazing duchy, and I know all the Highcom there very well, and I know that they're really good Highcom. Ex-Plusher has been in Luxembourg and has been a captain since November 2020 and has spent almost 3 years within Luxembourg. I said to say we need to give him an appreciation day. He needs to be appreciated for all the hard work he does for Luxembourg, and he just doesn't stop going. And he just always works hard.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when I joined the HRE first time on the year 2020, I joined Luxembourg. It was my first duchy. And when I was about to discharge, I DM'd Explasher. It was almost 3 years ago, and he's still here as a Luxembourg captain. And as I heard, he's not inactive. He's still doing things, even if he's like Highcom in TSU, he's the militia and CPSU Highcom. He's one of the most important people in TSU, but he's still doing things for Luxembourg, which is great. He's dedicated to the duchy.
Yeah, he's spectacular.
But let's not talk about Explasher, and let's talk about you.
Oh yeah, let's keep on going then.
Okay, next question is, how much times have you got banned,
How many times have I been banned?
if it ever
Banned.
happened?
I have. I've never been banned in game. The only times I've been banned in game are from either bugging out in cuffs or being cuffed as I was leaving, and just being auto banned. And so then I just either unban myself or I have to get somebody to unban me. But there was one Discord ban, and it was a very funny story. It was when Luxembourg was doing a really good in the Crown War, and I go to gallery, and this is when the duchy um, Dutchy sections were inside the main HRE server, which I think they should still be there technically. But it was I went to the gallery and I posted a bunch of memes and I sent 13 memes at once. Overwatch was the bot back then,
Yeah, I remember it.
and Overwatch immediately banned me for spam. And I got banned. It was a 3-day ban or something like that. In the middle of the Crown War.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
go, whoa. I think I probably still have the messages. No, I don't, because the Overwatch bot doesn't seem to exist anymore. Oh well, it's probably around there somewhere.
Yeah, it got deleted.
But I got banned for posting too many memes, and so I went to the forums, and I posted a very funny forum which was banned for the power of my memes. Where I filled in a Discord appeal saying, "Hey, I was just sending memes," and then I got told no. It got denied.
Oh my god.
It got denied, and told me to wait out my ban. A couple of weeks later, Kara gets banned for the exact same thing, but just in a different context, and he gets the exact same time of ban, and gets unbanned because Kara was waiting on night application announcements. I wasn't unbanned, even though the Crown War was happening.
Kinda corruption.
There wasn't corruption. We were both just regular people at the same time, and Kara was waiting. And it's fair enough. Kara was waiting to hear the results of night applications, so it makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. Mm, okay, I think that's all. And let's move to the another question, which is asked by the beauty director of HRE Media, and it's how long did it took you to become Archduke?
Well, let's break this up. So, I became a squire in April, at the start of April. No, yeah, something like that. Maybe less than that. Yeah, no, March or something, or May. I don't remember. And I joined HRE in February. Failed the KI twice. One time on the first stage for not putting something in correct. A second time way later on for just giving really silly answers to questions. It's the stage is no longer the same. It was old, and then I get through one time, and I pass in June or July. I think I had exams around the same time. Probably early June. That's when I pass. I spend a couple weeks of the night to get promoted to lieutenant. Couple weeks as lieutenant, get promoted to captain. 3 months as a captain, get promoted to colonel. 9 months as a colonel, and I get promoted to general. A month as a general, I get promoted to Grand Duke. A month as a Grand Duke, I get promoted to Archduke, and then retire a couple weeks later because of personal stuff, which I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
So it took me over a year.
That's a lot
Year and a
of
half.
time.
Yeah, year and a half.
So people need to dedicate a lot of time to this game if
Absolutely.
they want
But
to
at the
achieve a
same
rank
time,
like Archduke.
there was a couple of times where I wasn't like active, and so people who I'd supervised their trial night trainings were going ahead of me. That's because they were dedicated and they were definitely made for those roles. And at the same time, it was a matter of the high com above me being so rock solid. People like Kara, Dez, Panda, DT, Grouchy, Ali at that time. Just some really strong people who were just going to be there for a long time, and they were.
Okay. So the next question, asked by Rocket AC 12.
My son.
What did you do in your time as Archduke, and how was it?
What did I do? Not much really. Again, Archduke doesn't do much. It's pumped up to this really big role. It's not. I think I approved some. Um, Basically, Dukes of Duchies have to do reports and submit them to HighCom. So I approved some of those. Made sure people doing their job right. Went to an IN. Sat back, relaxed. Hosted a crown war. Yeah, Archduke doesn't do much. Neither does Grand Duke. General also realistically doesn't do much. They just sort of go in a separate server and they hit tick on a document that gets sent to them. They don't even need to have to read it. I always read them. I don't know if everyone does, but yeah.
Currently, there's a lot of generals. Mm,
Oh, there's a lot of kernels.
and as you said, they're not doing a lot, the generals. Uh,
Liku does have a good point there. Yeah, to the way that I did it is I became a Duchy Knight, then Duchy High Com, then HRE Knight, and HRE High Com. Back then, the way that you'd be able to get the way that you got HRE Knight, the best way was to already be High Com in a Duchy. That is the best way because then when people take a look at your account, see if they're good for it, and do background checks and stuff, they go, "Oh, this guy is the commander of Luxembourg. He must be good." Because back then, being High Common in the Duchy meant more than it does now.
yeah, back then it was much harder to be a Haikam in a Dachi. There were
Hmm.
a lot of more people in Dachis. Mm, you had to actually compete against the others to achieve a rank.
Oh yeah, yeah, and promotions didn't come quickly. I think one of the funniest things that I saw was Mixmaster, now Mixed Tavernic, I think. Um, Mixmaster was a conscript in HRE and a lieutenant in Brabant. It was always fun to see that. Looking on just fighting up Brabant in the Crown War, and I just see from across the map Mixmaster shouting out commands. I hover over Mix's name, and it just says conscript.
Maybe
Uh,
he had the experience as a commanding from the other game or something.
Mix was just good in general, and Mix was good for the position. That's
Yeah.
if at the truth, in truth, your ranks don't matter to a degree. It's just, are you good for the position? You good for it? Great, we'll have you on board. Um, but nowadays that sort of gets thrown out because people just say, "Oh, it's free ranking. It's free ranking." What, taking somebody who's really good at that job and putting them into that job? Hmm. Hmm. You might say it's unfair, but it's a lot of the time it's outside hire. It's just called outside hire. In the business world, if you're getting a new manager, you might hire from outside the company and not inside the company. Do you feel like it should be from outside the company? Um, but yeah.
Okay. So let's move to the almost the last question. Uh, we'll skip the question number 20 because you kind of answered this question before.
Oh, I absolutely loved being Duke.
And okay, who is or who was your favorite Duke? Question asked by Philip Fan01.
I mainly knew. There's been a lot of Dukes in my time. You had Hisinato. When I was like high common stuff, the Dukes at the time were Hisinato of Bavaria. Then you also had Gat and Accessible of Luxembourg. Um, I don't recall who else. You had Dark Napoleon and stuff for Saxony. I think my favorite Duke has to come from Luxembourg, and it's um, there's been some amazing Dukes recently. Um, I think Accessible though is the absolute goat of Luxembourg Dukes. Um, Even if Accessible only got 4 wins as Luxembourg Duke, Accessible is by far one of the best Dukes that the HRE has ever seen in terms of commitment, activity, innovation, and just being amazing in general. Accessible was the absolute goat of Luxembourg and dukedom in general.
Mm, And what do you think about the current Duke of Luxembourg, the Seihan?
Seihan. Hmm. So, uh, Seihan has positives and negatives. Um, I think Seihan is good for. I think Seihan's good for Luxembourg. Seihan's been in the position for months and months now, following up Russell. And if Seihan's listening, or is anyone listening who's talked to Seihan, Seihan needs to know this. Seihan has this mixed idea that Dukes of Luxembourg should only hand on Luxembourg to the next Duke when it is an absolute shambles and should not give help whatsoever. No. Um, uh, Russell sort of implanted this within Say, because Accessible handed Luxembourg to me when Luxembourg was in bad shape. I handed Luxembourg to Russell when Luxembourg was in bad shape. Russell handed Luxembourg to Seihan when Luxembourg was in bad shape. And the reason why none of us helped each other is because, mainly just because, at the end of the day, we had other stuff to do. I tried my best to help Luxembourg when I was doing stuff as colonel and general and stuff like that. I think I was actually the overseer of Luxembourg, or I did give myself a role in Luxembourg when I was their overseer called the Overlord of Luxembourg. I did that in Bohemia, Luxembourg, and Saxony. And I'd show up to their events randomly, and then put on my Duke tag for their duchy, and then walk around and command people around. It was always good fun. I will say this: when you are high rank, you it's not just about doing the work; it's just really enjoying your position. Because your position isn't permanent. You won't have that position forever. So make the most of it and have fun. And to anyone out there, the best way to enjoy HRE is just to relax and play. Don't be obsessed over ranks and arguing with people. Just sit back, enjoy being part of the community, enjoy the combats, the experience in general, and just be a part of this amazing community that has been built up for so many years, and enjoy your time.
A lot of people are speedrunning the ranks instead of enjoying the game. Mm.
Yeah,
Like
mainly
they're
because
trying to get the highest rank as fast as possible. They don't care. They're just speedrunning events and etc.
yeah, ranks ranks in theory come second to their ranks, not to the ranks. Sorry, ranks come second to the HRE experience. In my thoughts, in my opinion, I spent so long as colonel, and yeah, sure, when I was captain and colonel, I was complaining about how long it took. But there's a difference between complaining after 9 months of being a rank and complaining after being in it for a couple of weeks. I remember DT said when I got promoted to captain, and a bunch of other people did, "You'll be in this position for a long time, folks." Nowadays, you'll see Ali joined the knighthood in January, and now he's colonel in 3 months. Which ranking is just way faster nowadays because people are leaving because H3 has its downsides. But yeah, enjoy your time in H3 and don't stress about ranks. Just stress about the experience.
Yeah. And let's move to the last question of this podcast. It was almost 2 hours, mm, but we talked about a lot of interesting things uh, and a lot of things that could be helpful for the new players in HRE that wants to get the HR rank, a Highcom or something. But let's move to the final question of this podcast, which is, what is the best duchy right now?
What defines the best duchy, really?
Like, which duchy, in your opinion, is has the best experience? is the most funny? Like,
I
mm,
mean, I will always say Luxembourg because Luxembourg has been and will always be the best duchy. Luxembourg is so separate from the other duchies. The other duchies they follow the general format of a duchy, where Luxembourg is just it's just got that feel for it. Even when I left Luxembourg, I knew I didn't want to join anywhere else because I knew Luxembourg was different and always will be. Luxembourg used to be known as the pajama soldiers, and while other people you've got the green beans of Saxony and the blueberries of and the Smurfs of Bavaria. I scrolling back here, it's just not the same. And there's plenty of people who've been in Luxembourg and other duchies, which I'm sure you might interview in the future, and they will probably end up saying the same that Luxembourg is the goat.
then I have one more question. Uh, which duchy is the best except Luxembourg?
Except from Luxembourg, no, none of them. No, apart from Luxembourg, we're not even talking about divisions here because I would say IG because IG is good. IG is great, but
IG is not as good as it was
it is not
before.
as good as it used to be. No, um, Saxony used to be great. I think there's been a lot of issues within itself recently. Um, Bavaria, for all its issues, has been one of the most skilled duchies that I've ever seen within the entirety of the HRE and through my experience. I feel Bavaria is one of the best out there. Um, there's not really a worse duchy, but yeah, I feel all the duchies are very on par. Um, so I always recommend Luxembourg to anyone wanting to learn and really have fun. But if you don't want to go Luxembourg, go Bavaria, go Saxony, go Bohemia, go Brabant, go Brabant. Just go get that experience and enjoy being part of people. Historical has sent some questions apparently.
Check my question. Mm, he sent some questions. Okay, let me check the question form in the Google Docs that I made. Mm,
Just received a notification from Chessables saying that I've not done
okay, I
my
got the
chess
question,
reviews
and the question from the historical guy is, were you proud of what you become in IG? If not, why?
of what I became in IG. Um, what did I become in IG? What I became in IG was essentially um, creating the first, well, creating a proper war axe regiment within IG, which nowadays I don't think. Yeah, I know. There's a whatchamacallit around. Um, there's a sub regiment. The stream's trying to turn to a Lux advertisement. Well, of course, because Luxembourg is the best. Yeah. I'm proud that I was able to command some successful PRs, even if I wasn't a lieutenant at the time. And I'm proud that I really created a shift and just showed that the War Axe should have been. I don't know when they'll fix the War Axe. That the War Axe should be used properly, and I don't know when they'll fix War Axe, but I hope they do because the War Axe is, in my opinion, one of the most unique weapons in HRE. None of this halberds and pole arms and Morning Star stuff. No, no, no. Go back to your basics: sword, spear, war axe. Get the war axe fixed, and it is the best. It was the best two-hander. Um, I think a lot of people start like using halberds because it's one of the best ones for dealing with horses. But yeah, I I am proud of what I did in IG, and I feel like I helped develop it, even if the Strikestragen didn't go on for long. Next question. Let's keep going. Get these two other
Well,
questions out of the way. I hope
that's
plates.
all. So,
That's all.
Yeah, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you everyone for being here and listening to us for almost 2 hours.
Almost.
It's an hour and 40 minutes, which is a lot. Mm, it was supposed to be
Yeah.
for
Well, it's
less
been a
than
pleasure
an
being
hour.
here. I've got women to start messaging now that I've been ignoring to continue doing a Roblox podcast.
Yeah, Roblox more
Um,
important than women.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um,
Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and that's the end.
one more thing, if you need legal representation, go to the Green Bean Law Firm. You can find it in the courthouse server. Go to Law Firm Advertisements. You can join us there. Better call Rocket. I hope to see you in the courthouse.
Yeah, and see you on the next podcast.